always say better to plant really heavily from the outset, at least have some of those plants as fast growers. Hi everyone, George here, and very exciting video for you today. I'm at my old friend John's house. Can I say your full name, John?
Yeah, of course.
John Starkey. You've just started a aquarium sort of focused Instagram, haven't you?
Yes.
So I'll leave a link to that down below. But we and John go way back, over 10 years, more like 15 years.
15 years.
15 years, and John's recently got back into the hobby, so that's why I'm here today to aquascape this beautiful ADA 60p with full kind of lighting, filtration, CO2, substrate, plants, everything we need to create a beautiful aquascape. Also going to be taking step-by-step photos and video for the Tropica YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed to that as well. This setup is supported by Tropica. They have kindly supplied the plants free of charge, and they're going to get some great material from this scope as well, so everyone's a winner. Okay, so let's undo all the boxes, get all the lighting set up and everything, all the equipment installed, and then we can start scoping. Let's talk about the aquarium and the lighting before we start scoping. This is the ADA 60p, the classic size aquarium by the luxury Japanese brand ADA, originally founded by Takashi Amano. He sadly passed away, but the Nature Aquarium kind of lifestyle and principle lives on through all their products, and this is, you know, the epitome really of the kind of style that they help popularise, the ADA 60p. 60 centimetres long, it's 30 centimetres front to back and 36 centimetres tall, so that's 24 inches by 12 inches by 14 inches. That gives us about 16 US gallons, or about 60 litres. Lighting is the Twin Star 600S, 45 watts, plenty, enough to grow pretty much any plant that we want to. You can see in the reflection there the array of LEDs of different colours. We've got the red, green, blue and white LEDs. It's actually a diffuser plate as well, so it doesn't look quite as defined as that in real life. But as you can see, a lot of red, a lot of blue. This really helps to bring out any red or blue colours in the fish. And then you have obviously the green and the white there to help pop the colours of the plants. So really nice system. Next we'll, I think, prepare the plants next, do a time lapse of that, and then we'll start installing the substrate and the hardscape. Here's inside the cabinet. I have to say it is a very tight squeeze. It's only a 60 centimetre by 30 centimetre footprint. And we have quite a large external filter here. This is the Awase Biomaster 350 Thermo, complete with built-in heater there, and then the quick release pre-filter here. And then we've squeezed in a 3 kilogram refillable CO2 system, pressurized system here, with 2-stage regulator here from CO2 Art. And then you might just be able to see in the background there, there's the, let me just get my finger through there. You can just see there where my finger is, the inline diffuser. So this is in line with the outlet of the filter. The water comes through out of the outlet hose, and then we'll fit the lily pipes later once we've scaped, because what we do, we need to figure out the position of all the plants, all the hardscape, and then we determine where best to place the outlet and the inlet of the filter. So quite a high-tech system, you know, large, powerful external filter for this size aquarium, probably going to give us around 10 times turnover at least. Pressurized CO2 system. That's kind of under the cabinet. There's some liquid fertilizers which we'll talk about later maybe, but just to say it's going to have a comprehensive liquid fertilizer dosed every day. So high-tech setup. And then next step is to install the substrate and then the hardscape. So let's get on with that and we'll do a time lapse. Hardscape has now been complete. We have 5 or 6 elderly stones, these are called. Yes. Very similar to Frodo stone, about 10 kilos worth. And then I think we've got 5 pieces of manzanita wood. Classic kind of island composition, which John wanted to go for. And yeah, it didn't take us long. When you've got really good hardscape materials, it almost escapes itself. So really quite straightforward. Now it's time to plant. We've already pre-prepared the plants. So we'll plant all of those now, and let's do another time lapse. We're now fully planted. Let's go through all the species, starting from the foreground. So we've got this very foreground plant here. This is Eleocharis acicularis mini, the 1-2 grow from Tropica. All the plants on here are from Tropica. Here we have Hydrocotyle verticillata. We call this like a mushroom plant because it has a tall vertical stem and then a little kind of mushroom effect on the tip. And then we've got some Ranunculus inundatus here, looking a bit sorry for itself, a bit deformed because it's been growing in its little cup, but that will soon spring to life. With some more Hydrocotyle verticillata. Then behind that, we've got some Eleocharis parvula. So this is quite tall at the moment, but the new growth will be much shorter. And my hope is that it will kind of creep forward onto the Eleocharis mini and form quite a complex kind of texture. And that's kind of repeated over to the right, that kind of similar format of the foreground plants. Moving over to the kind of central midground here, we've got Cryptocorini albida brown. This is a beautiful crypt, stays quite small, and under good light like we've got here, it will turn a kind of really nice red-brown colour. We're using Hydrocotyle tripartita here as an epiphyte. That's wedged in between the manzanita wood and this piece of elderly stone. Moving over to the left, we've got some Bucophilandra wavy green. Then we have some more Hydrocotyle tripartita. Then actually that gets really close to this because it's such a beautiful plant. We've got some Riccardia camadrifolia. This was actually donated by Dave from Aquarium Gardens to John. So John bought all of the products that you see here from Aquarium Gardens, and Tropica donated the plants apart from this Riccardia here. So really beautiful, advanced plant. It's kind of regarded as a moss, although it isn't strictly speaking a moss. It's a liverwort, but very nice and quite slow growing. But once it gets established, it can look absolutely stunning. So in the centre now, we've got the good old trident fern there, a nice focal point plant. And then moving towards the kind of mid-ground, you could just see these crypts here. This is Cryptocorini X Willisii. We've got the same thing on the right-hand side of the tank here. And then let's poke over the top and we can see a bit more of a better angle. So we've got the trident fern here. And then this is Bulbitis. So this is another classic epiphyte. It's going to add a really nice sense of maturity to the scape right away. Strategically kind of glued, we've got some spiky moss at different positions on the wood, as well as the Riccardia. And then into the background, we have two different stem plants. In the centre area, we have Rotala rotundifolia, and then to the left and to the right, we've got Rotala rotundifolia green. So beautiful Rotala background curtain effect we'll go for in the long term. So that's all the plants. Hardscape is manzanita wood, and then we have the beautiful elderly stone. We've used 9 litres of the Tropica Aquarium soil and a bag of the power sand. So fully planted. We used probably around 30 pots of plants, which is quite a lot, but I always say better to plant really heavily from the outset. At least have some of those plants as fast growers. That's really going to help you beat the battle with algae, especially in the early days when algae is really kind of likely. So that's the plants in there. We've been misting them regularly throughout the planting process. Now we can slowly fill with water, dechlorinated tap water, and then we can fit our filter kit, get the CO2 running, and then we can see the scape pretty much ready to go, and John can look forward to maintaining it and obviously watching it develop and evolving, and hopefully he can share its journey on his Instagram page and you can see this aquascape develop over the coming weeks. So let's fill up with water and then speak to you in a minute. We've filled with water, the filter's now running, and I think it looks great straight away. We have planted very heavily, which is always a good thing, especially in a new aquascape. Really helps to defeat this battle with algae. You always think about algae and plants in competition with each other. The more plants we have, the healthier those plants are, the less chance of algae we get. And it's a good idea to buy the most healthy plants you can as well. So if you don't have access to healthy plants, then I would recommend trying out a reputable online dealer potentially, or strike up a relationship with fellow hobbyists that are known to grow healthy plants. But I can't emphasize enough the importance it is to have healthy plants from the outset. So you may have noticed the stone there. Let's have a look over the top. The lighting's kind of blocking it a bit, but you can see that rock there. We put that in during the filling process, and that is just helping to weigh that wood down. The wood is relatively new. It hasn't had chance to sink enough to remain submersed without some form of assistance. So that is why that stone's there. That can be removed in a couple of weeks, I would suggest, by John. So quick overview of the tank then. This is the ADA 60P with a Twin Star 600S. We've got the Iwase Biomaster 350 thermofiltration on there with the EA Aquascape glass pipework set. John's going to be dosing TNC complete. I would suggest starting off after about a week or so. Start off with dosing around 5 millilitres a day, and then we can increase that dosage as required. So top tip is keep an eye on your fastest growing plants, and they're the ones that are going to go pale quickest. So things like this Hydrocotyl tripartita, this will kind of creep over the stones, and if it goes hungry, it will start to grow much more pale. And then the stem plants in the background, the Rotala rotundifolia and Rotala green, they're relatively fast growing as well. So great use of epiphytes there, classic way to get an instant focal point in your aquarium, great way to add a sense of maturity. Complex kind of carpet going on there with a mixture of the dwarf hairgrass, the Eleocharis mini, the Cryptocoria albida brown, ranunculus, Hydrocotyl verticillata, you know, Eleocharis parvula. We've got kind of 5 species there, all growing together, all kind of eventually will become mixed into one another to create this really natural look. The moss as well, that's going to creep over the wood and add another sense of maturity and a naturalistic feel. And I can't wait to see this one develop. John's just started a new Instagram account, so again I'll leave a link to that in the description. But do follow John, and I'm going to urge John to post regular updates of this scape so you can keep a closer eye on it, and then hopefully maybe in a couple of months' time I can come back down and see John maybe create a cinematic video or do an update video for you guys as well. So CO2 is going in here about 2 bubbles per second, and then we have that on a separate solenoid to the lights. Will come on probably, I'd suggest to John, an hour or so before the lights come on, and then turn off an hour or so before the lights go off. That gives the CO2 a chance to build up before the lights come on, and then also a chance to use up that residual CO2 before the lights go off. Water changes, we'll be doing very large frequent water changes for the first month or so, just as the aquarium gets established, help fight off algae. These big water changes also help to promote healthy plant growth as well, so it's all geared up towards getting the best start possible. So I'll say cheerio now. I want to say thanks to John for inviting me down. It's really great to catch up with him. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been about 14 years since we first met, and I'm really excited for John's new journey with aquascaping. He was a skilled aquascaper before, and now he's resumed his hobby, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with. Okay guys, thanks for watching. You take care. Keep on scaping. Cheerio.